What's going on, everybody? Cryptix here, and I apologize for not uploading in like 5 days or so. I had a lot of schoolwork. I also ran like a half marathon, and also on a quick side note, do not run a half marathon in a month's advance. You're going to be just utterly destroyed. I'm super sore right now, but regardless, today we're going to be talking about how a group of SJWs are not fond of Avengers Endgame. Yes, you heard that correctly. Avengers Endgame, the new superhero movie that's out that recorded 1.3 billion grossing dollars over the weekend, making it the highest grossing film of all time when it comes to an opening weekend box office hit, right? And down the line in the future, it's probably going to be the highest grossing film of all time. I'm pretty confident in that. But basically, they are not fond of the movie because of one thing and one thing only. And that's the fact that there wasn't enough LGBTQ representation within the film. Now, before we even jump into this video, guys, don't forget to drop a like. If you're new to the channel, hit that sub button and that bell next to the subscribe button next to my name. We just got 1,000 subscribers and I'm looking for 10,000 very soon. I know that's going to come with time, but without further ado, let's jump into the video. Now, I'm not going to be mentioning any spoilers within this video, so if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame yet, that's totally fine. I'm not spoiling anything whatsoever. Now, in the actual movie, there is a gay character within the film. I'm not going to say if it's a superhero or just a regular character, but overall, there is one gay character within this film, and a lot of people started to say that this is the first gay character in the total amount of 22 movies, 11 years that the MCU has existed. And I didn't think anything of it when I went to see this movie. I knew the guy was gay. I just saw it, didn't really think anything of it, like I said. But then when I got out of the theater, people on Twitter, I'm not surprised because Twitter is just full of idiots that want to make a big deal out of nothing really. But basically, I went on to Twitter and I saw that, this was the first gay character and how there wasn't enough of them in the MCU. And on one end of the spectrum, you have people that are saying, there wasn't enough LGBTQ representation. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have people saying, this is not needed for a superhero movie. This is not, required for a superhero film to be great, to be good. If this was an LGBTQ movie, then yes, LGBTQ representation would be a focal point. But since, this is a superhero film where the majority of people want shit to blow up and want just action-packed adventure storyline and just a really good plot, then I don't think LGBTQ representation is needed. And that was basically the other side of the argument. And I honestly reside with those people, with the people that are saying it's not required for an action-packed superhero film. It's not required for a superhero film to be good or to be bad or whatever you have it. I mean, this is a movie about people, extraordinary people, that undergo some obstacles that can be relatable to people to a certain degree. I mean, no one's fighting aliens or anything like that. But when it comes down to it, these people, especially the superheroes in this film, they felt the most human out of all the other Avengers films. I felt so relatable and connected to these people. And I really didn't think LGBTQ representation is required for you to feel like you can relate to these characters, whether they're a regular human or just a superhero just trying to blow up Thanos, basically. It really just doesn't make any sense that this was an issue or any type of topic of conversation when it comes to Avengers Endgame. And like always, we've seen this in other films where, a small group of social justice warriors are trying to nitpick at little details that just don't reside with them, that they feel like they need more of, a certain aspect that would feel more relatable to them. And we've seen this in Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars, not to get too off topic, but Star Wars has definitely dealt with this time and time again by having a lot of diversity in the films, having a pink purple hair lady in The Last Jedi movie, which kind of gave me a vibe that she was LGBTQ friendly, but that's just an assumption, I guess. but you know, there's just a lot of that kind of overlapping and getting into really good franchises, really good plots, really good storylines. And at the end of the day, like I said, if it's an LGBTQ film, then yes, that's definitely required for the plot to excel, for the plot to get their point across, for the directors to send a message to the audience. But when it comes down to Avengers, a group of extraordinary individuals, superheroes that are trying to come together to fight a common enemy, there's no requirement for having a lesbian, bisexual, gay, transgender, or queer person or people to be within the film to excel that specific plot, to get the point across, to get the message to the audience. It doesn't make any sense to me that this is even a topic or point of conversation. And I was even talking to my buddy about this yesterday, and he got me thinking, you know, is this going to be a trend when it comes to cinema development, cinema direction, when it comes to all of these other franchises that we know and love, and maybe new franchises down the road? Is this going to be a quote-unquote requirement for everybody to be happy? And I think that's exactly what, you know, the SJWs specifically want. They just want more and more and more until it becomes the totality of a film, where you could have a superhero movie down the line 10, 20 years from now that's going to be full-on LGBTQ friendly, and in reality, that's not needed, especially when you're trying to just have a superhero or just a protagonist try to overcome an obstacle, beat an enemy, or just, you know, fight that obstacle and eventually become successful. It's not required to have this type of representation in this film. So I know I said required a lot, but overall, I'm just kind of sick and tired of this whole aspect where we need more and more and more. I mean, it was kind of nice and generous, to be honest with you, that they even included this sexual representation of any type of character within a Marvel movie, whether it was a superhero or just a regular human being. The fact that they even implemented that within the film was pretty generous, to be honest with you. It really didn't have any effect on the plot. It didn't do anything, which is exactly where I draw the line. If this type of sexual representation starts to affect the actual plot of superhero movies, that's where I'm going to be a little shaky. And if Marvel actually does do exactly what I just said, having LGBTQ characters affect the plot, affect the storyline and the timeline of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that's where I'm going to be like, all right, I'm done with this franchise. I'm kind of already sickened by the fact that the Star Wars franchise has just been utterly destroyed by this SJW political agenda BS. And if they do it with Marvel Avengers, at least we got Endgame. At least we got a great storyline, a great plot before they went full on politically correct. And I think that's where I want to end this video. But most of all, guys, I want to hear your comments down below. Do you think that, you know, Marvel needs this type of representation in films more? Or do you think, you know, having one or two characters, you know, representing the LGBTQ community that don't affect the plot, that don't affect the storyline, do you think that's good? And I didn't really think anything of it. I'm kind of indifferent when it comes to that. You can have them in there if you want. You don't have to have them in there at all. But if they start affecting the plot, that's where I'm going to be like, all right, this is obvious that they're trying to go in this direction and I'm not supporting it anymore. That's my take. But like I said before, I want to know your opinion down in the comments below. And like always, guys, likes are always appreciated on the channel. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and that bell next to the subscribe button next to my name. It is greatly appreciated. We just hit 1,000 subscribers. I can't thank you all enough. I think it's actually insane that 1,000 people have already subscribed to this channel in the past couple of months. It took me a long time to actually get 1,000 subscribers on my other channel, and just having this amount of support and just going in a completely different direction versus my first channel is kind of reassuring, and it gives me confidence that this channel will actually exceed my previous channel's success, and down the line it's just going to require a ton of work, a ton of effort, but most of all, your support. I'm Cryptix, not trying to have LGBTQ characters that affect the plot in superhero movies, and I'm signing off.